Let's see if it's a beach bike. My pedal stroke, 6 foot, 32 inches. I can tell you that at 20 miles an hour, I am ghost pedaling. Gotta get up to 20. That was a little faster than 20. Should be outstanding too. Ooh, that's pretty good. No hands, mama. This frame is nice and stiff. Got a headwind. Hello, my friends. I hope you're having an outstanding, fabulous day. I am, because I woke up and it's hot and humid in Maryland, but I'm here to see another day. And I had this beautiful, bright red new bike, folding e-bike from Rattan Ebike, RattanEbike.com. And who is Rattan Ebike? They have been around for almost 7+ years. The founder of the company, Eric Yam, he was an engineer in the e-bike industry for 10 years before he founded his company in 2018. So really, all his bikes have about 17+ years of development ideas. Eric Yam, every summer, he'd take his family on camping trips with his electric bikes. And he came to the conclusion that, family, we want to go further and further and further. But at the time, just think about how many years ago that was. Batteries were smaller than they are today. And he said, I need more distance. And that seed was planted on those camping trips. And in 2018, he created the company. He created Rattan Ebike. Now, 7 years later, A+ website. They have a U.S. headquarters. They own their own factory so they can control the quality control. They have dealers in the U.S., free shipping and no tax. And the claim of the company, their claim to fame is long range camping bikes, big batteries. And they sent me the LF Ultra step through. They also make a step over folding e-bike with a jumbo battery. Now, I did some research. I've already ridden the bike. I've already looked at the specs. I think that they're telling the truth. I think this is the best folding e-bike under $1,500 in the world. And why do I say that? I'm going to tell you when I go over the specs. But let me also tell you this. I have a code, Bruce100. And this bike right now with my code is $12.99, free shipping and no tax. And if you use the code, it benefits the channel, and the channel is me. Doesn't cost you anything to use the code. You save money and you help the channel. I've researched the company. I've researched the specs. I believe it to be true. And if any of you have watched any of my other videos and know anything about me, you know that I'm an attorney and I practice consumer protection law. And so at the end of the reviews, it's going to be Rattan, Balderdash, or Rattan. My intuition was right. This is the best folding e-bike under $1,500. The bike came 99% assembled. The shipping was impeccable. The packaging was impeccable. The only thing I had to put on this bike was the folding pedals. Everything else was in place. I did not have to do anything else except put the display where I wanted it and tighten it up. It came with the seat. I did not install. It came with only a couple tools because it's 98, 99% all put together. It just needs the pedals. The wheels, everything is already on. So you have a little packet of tools and footrest for your rear passenger, which I'm not installing because the company is going to send me a rear cargo basket and a front cargo basket. The manual, simple, concise, easy to read, covers everything that you need to know, including the display P settings. This is one of the best manuals I have seen. And there is the beautiful Rattan LF Ultra folding e-bike in fire engine red. Built-in frame for strength. Fit and finish, outstanding. It is a 20 by 4 inch tire bike. 48 volt, 40.5 amp hour battery. Have CST, puncture resistant tire, nice tread, plastic fender, rear light, running light, and brake light. To turn the lights on, press and hold the plus button. That's your running light. That's your brake light. Rear light in the dark. So not a bad bright light. Kickstand, obviously, and it comes with these brakes called X-Tech. It's a hybrid. I have seen people say good and bad things about them. 180 millimeter rotor, and it's a hybrid because it uses a cable to actuate the piston, which is hydraulic. So it is a sealed mineral oil hydraulic system with a cable. This gives you simplicity for adjustment with the cable, but stopping power of a hydraulic brake. We are going to test it out with a 300-pound or so fat man on it. Now let's do a brake test at 20 miles an hour. I have 2 cones set up 20 feet apart. Whoa. All right, so that was 20 miles an hour. Our rear tire ended at 13 feet, and our front tire ended at like 19 feet. Per the company, 1,000-watt motor, 1,800-watt peak. We will be testing that out on the hills of Cecil County, Maryland. Beautiful mag wheels, nice look and strength. Folding pedals. Push them in and they fold. Cadence sensor, 40.5 amp hour jumbo battery. Charge on or off, charging port. Lock, unlock, must be turned on with the key for power. Suspension seat post. This is a dual suspension. Front fork suspension, seat suspension. Some comfort in the seat. Folding mechanism. Adjustable stem. The stem will go up or down with depending on what you need. It folds. X-Tech hybrid, 180 millimeter on the front, plastic. Basic minimalist headlight, non-adjustable suspension fork. Cable management with this cable sleeve was outstanding. Mechanism to fold. Dual guard front chainring, which is nice. Shimano 7-speed 20, they are what they are. They always a C grade unless they're trigger shifter, in which case they could make their way to a B, derailleur guard. Passenger seat, I'm taking this off and I'm putting a cargo basket here. And I'm putting a cargo basket on the front. Cockpit. Ergonomic rubber grips, they're not locking, but they don't move. Brake lever, very ingenious display pad. Bell, brilliant, beautiful LCD. Push button Shimano shifter, quarter throttle, twist. Brake lever. This pad designed for newbies. Why? There's a foot right there. So people don't realize it's almost industry standard. You press and hold the minus button and it puts the bike in the walk mode. If you don't know that and you press and hold that too long, you'll have an accident. Yes, in the first 500 miles of my e-biking life, I had an accident, almost. So they tell you there's a foot mode. They tell you there's cruise control. So you can press that button and have cruise control. So you don't need to press any magic button setup. The I button lets you scroll through the display. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. And then your traditional power button, plus and minus. To turn the bike on, press and hold the power button. And there pops up the display. Whatever PAS setting you leave it at, when you turn the bike off, that's how it will start. Speed, battery bars, your PAS levels, and then your odometer. You hit the I button and you will see your trip meter. You will see the time the bike's been on. You will see your wattage, which we're going to use on the hills to see what kind of watts we are pulling. And then your odometer. The plus will give you 5 levels of pedal assist. And every time you go up, you see that you're in eco, normal, sport mode. It comes already set up in speed, miles per hour. it already comes up in the brightest setting. I only change one setting, the P8 setting. And to get into the P settings, you press the plus and minus and hold. And then you will be in the P settings. And then you can scroll through the P settings with the plus. And then if you wanted to pick a setting, you would simply hit the I button. So I only changed, and if you screw up, you can go back and reset the bike. I only changed P8. I raised it from 60 kilometers. You hit the I button, see how it's blinking? And then you go up to the maximum. The maximum is 70. Now the speed is unlocked for this bike. The company says that this bike will fit riders between 5'3" and 6'4". There is a lot of adjustability in the handlebar stem and the suspension seat post. And this is what I look like. 6 foot, 32-inch inseam, approximately 290 pounds. I have the stem up about 3 inches. I have the seat up, and I am at tippy toe. 6 foot, 32 inches. I can tell you that at 20 miles an hour, I am ghost pedaling. And it's a cadence sensor. So you move the pedals and it goes. 6 foot, 290 pounds, 32-inch inseam. It's rated for 300 pounds, although I think that's underrated because it's pretty beefy frame. The bike weighs 64 pounds, and then the battery weighs another 22 pounds. The battery is UL2849 certified per the company. So the battery and the electrical system, everything on the bike electric-wise is UL2849 certified per the company. When you fold this bike, take the battery out. You fold this bike, it's only 64 pounds. 64 pounds without the battery, and then you can fold it and put it in the trunk of a car, SUV, minivan, back of a pickup truck, and removing that 22-pound battery makes it easy to fold and to store and to transport. 48 volt, 40.5 amp hours. Charging port. You can charge it on the bike or off the bike. 2 keys come with it. You need to lock the battery in. You need to turn the battery on. You need to unlock it to remove. To install the battery, there's a little push button on the seat. Very brilliant. Seat pops right up. Slide the battery in the track. Insert firmly. Then lock the battery. To turn the bike on, the key must be in the on position, which is turned to the rear. To make it easier to fold and transport this bike, press the magic button on the seat, unlock the battery, remove the battery, sit it aside, lower your seat down, front, raise up on the left lever, and then simply pull the lever down. Push the pedal in and fold your pedals. Push the lever, little lever on the arm, open it up. Raise your kickstand. And you can fold the bike around. It has a built-in stand on the bottom of the bike. And now you have a small package that's easier to carry and to load. 2020 Subaru Outback, the seat is not down. Bike folded, battery is out. 2017 Toyota Corolla. And there is a Rattan LF Ultra. Back seats are down, but there she goes. So you can put it in your little small car. And if you don't have a bike rack or you don't want to use your bike rack and you have a small pickup truck, this is a Honda Ridgeline, a 2023 Ridgeline. You can simply fold your bike. You could probably put it in there, unfold it actually, and just lay it down as well. But because it's so light, you can just pick it up, spin it around, strap it in, and then transport your bike like that. The battery, per the company, it's approximately 60 miles going throttle, and then 80 to 120 miles doing pedal assist. Now, I'll tell you right now, that's with a light rider, pedal assist 1 going slow. We are gonna do a range test. I'm expecting in a PAS mode, 60 plus miles with me. We're gonna test it and see how the claim is with a 290 pound fat man and about 10 pounds of gear. Rattan, that display, outstanding. You can see it in the bright sunlight. And for all those wondering, you can pedal this bike with no power. And the throttle is limited by the PAS settings. And the GPS is off about 1 mile an hour when going slow and about 2, almost 3 miles an hour when you're going fast. In PAS 1, you're going to go about 9, 10 miles an hour. In PAS 2, you're going to go about 14, 15 miles an hour. PAS 3, you're going to go almost 20 miles an hour. And then you start to ghost pedal. And that is the synopsis of the speeds. So I'm going to show you. Here's PAS 1. My GPS is saying around 9 and the display saying 10. So you're off like 1. PAS level 2. My GPS has us at like 15 and the display is like 17. So it's off a couple. It's off between 1 to 3 miles an hour depending on how fast you're going. The throttle is very responsive and the pedals are pretty responsive. You do about a quarter to a half turn of the pedals and the motor kicks in. So that's okay for a cadence sensor. Especially in this price range of a bike. I can tell you that it has torque. It wants to take off harder and stronger than my 1100, 1300 watt bikes that I have in my possession now. So do I think that this is a 1000 watt and an 1800 peak? I don't know about the 1800 peak yet, but I do believe that it's 1000 watt because it just does stronger than my 750s. I can also tell you that unlike a lot of what I call gooseneck bikes with a tall steering column, this bike's pretty nimble. So it gets an A for being nimble, and while nimble, it is also not wobbly. It's got good stability while still being nimble, which again, for a long stem bike is a plus. The spacing on the, I'm just gonna put it in the PS5. We're gonna ride it fast and hard. The spacing from grip to grip, I like it. It feels really, 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 really good. It doesn't feel too wide and it doesn't feel too narrow. So it feels good with my shoulders. And again, the display, perfect to see. And when you hit the I button, you can scroll. We're gonna go to power and see how many watts we're using when we do stuff. All right, let's go do our neighborhood trail. The suspension seat post with my 290, plus I have a backpack full of water and stuff, probably about 300 pound total. It's pretty good. Yeah, this is another nimble bike. 64 pounds plus 22, 86, not too heavy. It is good for trails like this. This bike is not an off-roading bike. Why? It's just not designed that way. All right, the trail, the hill. Made it. Whoa. Made it up the hill. Now, just from that hill climb, I'm not sure about the 1800 watts. It made it, but we'll see. 10% hill climb will be, when I put my butt dyno down, that will be the test. So for gravel like this, oh, darn it, I missed a turn. The tires are fine. Again, not an off-roading machine, but for gravel trails, stone dust, rail trails, neighborhood trails like this, good. She's zipping along pretty good. Oh, I didn't want to go this way. I normally go the other way. Yeah, not bad. Let's go up this. Yeah, see the front fork bottomed out right there. This also would be a good bike for just cruising around the neighborhood. Again, because it's not too heavy and it's easy to maneuver, and it's got nimbleness, so it could be a sidewalk rider. The big battery kind of takes away from, and see, going up and down the curbs, the front fork is fine. It's just off-roading if it's a little bit harsh, not so much. The big battery takes away from the stealth e-bike look, but it still kind of has a benign look because it's a step through. What else can I tell you? The gears work just like every other Shimano gear. Push button Shimano gears, they're just okay. C, grade C. So far, after a few miles, let's see how far we've gone. After 4 miles, seat's okay. The suspension seat post is actually surprisingly better than what I expected. Front fork's okay. Throttle response is good. Cadence response is okay. No crazy rattles, noises, shakes, bumps, or anything going on yet. And honestly, the build quality looks pretty good. I'd be surprised. Now, we always do this little bit here just to show you that if you did a little bit of gentle off-roading like this, would you be fine? Yes, you would be fine. Ooh, somebody put a pile of dirt there. Stuff like this, neighborhood trails, gentle stuff like this, some little bit of logs here or there. Yes, this bike would be okay for that, but it is not going to be good for anything hardcore. The front fork just will not treat you well. Tickville, Tickville, Tickville. This is always a little good test for, several hundred yards of bumps and bumps and bumps is a good test to see if anything pops loose and starts rattling. I'm avoiding the weeds more than ever now because we're having a tick invasion here in Maryland, apparently. Tires got a little bit of rumble, but I like that. It doesn't bother me at all, and I like it a lot. We might try a high-speed run right in this stretch here. Let's put our GPS on. Hopefully you can see that. Let's run it. It's a pretty straight runway here. Not my normal runway, but this bike is not going to go that fast. $29 on the display, $27 on my GPS, $32 on the display, $31 on my GPS, $34 on the display, $31 on my GPS, $31, $31, $31, $32 on the display, $31 on my GPS, $34 on the display, $31 on my GPS. Rattan Ebikes gets an A+ for telling the truth with regards to the top speed. The display, I could probably tweak that with tire size, but if it's off 2 or 3 miles an hour, I don't care. Why? E-bikes in general, this bike in particular, precision is like whatever. If 2 or 3 miles an hour is critical to you, then you should be spending mega money on something. But just, let's do our neighborhood hill. Side hill test. Ooh, that's pretty good. That's very good, actually. Ugh. They just planted seed down here, so I don't want to do too much because I don't want to get yelled at. That's not too shabby either. Okay, so it does have some go. All right, let's, starting from nothing. Is it gonna make it? Heck yeah. So it has some hill climbing ability. That's a good thing. These brakes, they're made by Zoom. They're a hybrid. They're sealed units. They have cable actuated. Cable actuates the mineral oil system. Zoom brakes are a good brake. Zoom is good company. Would they be better if they were pure 100% hydraulic Zoom? Yes. But again, I think Rattan did this for a reason. I think they created these brakes because people are scared of problems. People are scared of maintenance. So people are like, I don't know how to bleed brakes. I don't know anything about brake fluid, even though it's mineral oil. I think they did this to try to have the best of both worlds. Better braking power with hydraulic, less maintenance with mechanical. So I think it was actually by design that they did this. The same reason why their display pad to control the display has the foot on it and the cruise control, and they're white so you can see them easy. I think it's geared to newbies. Let's see if it's a beach bike. The water's out today. The water, there ain't no wood and water. The water's out today. So let's see how it does in the soft stuff. Oh, it's not really a beach screamer. Not in the soft stuff. In this stuff, it's perfect. Packed. Because this is so low, it's such a low step over. So if you have bad knees and you can't raise your knees up high, this is a great bike for that reason, because the step over is low. But with the low step over also comes lower pedals. So when you make a turn, you need to have the pedals up in the opposite way. Just like when you were a little kid and you scrape the pedals, this bike will scrape the pedals if you have them down and you turn too sharply like you're racing the bike. But nice low step over, perfect for somebody with bad knees. Through the sand we go, through the sand we go. Is it gonna go up this part? Oh, I made it. Wasn't a lot of sand, but she made it up. 9 miles. Seat is still comfortable. Shimano gears, still Shimano gears. Brakes still good. No crazy rattles, no crazy nothing. And I'm gonna try to put a bunch of mileage on this initial ride just to see what happens with the battery. Some people complain about the display in the battery bars. I tell everybody, there ain't a bike company, there ain't a bike seller, there ain't a bike display that has an accurate battery meter like that. How can it be? It's just shapes and colors. It's not specific numbers and metrics or whatever. So you have to ride your bike, get to know your bike, and then you will know how far you will go. We are gonna go test the bike on our steep Charlestown Hill. Look at all that wetlands already growing in there because it's all sloppy. We had like 4 inches of rain the other day. Let's see how it does on this hill. My recent bikes have been outstanding on it because they're lightweight. And this one should be outstanding too. Ooh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. This bike, for this kind of, look, you can see my arms and you can hear my voice. This bike is okay for this kind of riding. If you had to do a couple miles of this kind of bump, would you be okay? Yes. Could you do 40 miles like this? No. I said that about one of my other bikes recently too. That's pretty darn tootin'. Pretty nice tootin'. I like it. The other thing I forgot to tell you is that one reason why these brakes are doing as good as they are, well, first off, they're quiet. And they do work almost as good as pure hydraulic. And actually, the more I use them, the better they're getting because I bedded these brakes in. I've told you before to do that. I put flat out in the tires too. You got to bed the brakes in. Go 15 to 20 miles an hour, 25 miles an hour, and apply the brakes. Not slam them on to nothing. Apply them to about 5 miles an hour, and then redo that like 15, 20 times. And then you apply brake pad residue on the rotor, and that helps your stopping power and also helps keep your brakes quiet. We are going down one of the short, steep hills from Charlestown to Northeast that we're going to have to come up. But let's see what the max speed will be. Got a headwind. You can cruise down Main Street with this bike. You can go shopping, you can pick up your tacos from the Mexican restaurant, crab cakes from Woody's. So many things that you can do with an e-bike that has cargo carrying capacity, like this one, and the ability to go the distance. Now, no hands, mama. No hands, mama. This frame is nice and stiff. Yes, I got another sidewalk rider. Not too, I'll kind of watch out for that mirror. Not too blatant e-bikey looking. Oh, she would have got me. Thank you. And this is what you can do with the e-bike that's not too obtrusive, that's not too in-your-face-ish, and is nimble. This is the start of our hill test, the long, steep hill from Northeast to Charlestown. All throttle, no pedaling unless the bike gets around 6 miles an hour. I'm going to try to show you the display. My 1500 watts that peaked at 1380 went up this like 13 miles an hour, 12 miles an hour. Oh, it says we're only peaking at 700 watts. I don't believe that because we're going up it pretty good. We're going up at 18 miles an hour. I'm really surprised. 19 miles an hour. It's picking up speed. $19 miles an hour. Everything always slows down here. All right, my 1500 watt bike, which I really believe peaks at 1500 watt, went up just a little bit slower. All right, A+. Ready to go into the short length but steep hill to Charlestown. My bikes always do slower on this one because it's steeper. This is the one we hit 35 on coming down. No pedaling, all throttle. Okay, this bike's doing pretty freaking good. $16 on the GPS. The display says only like 700 watts pulling. That watt meter is not accurate. All right, 17 miles an hour. $100%. Another A+ for that hill climb. Yeah, I'm adding miles to this puppy. 23 miles up and down super steep hills. Pedal assist 5. Pretty much the whole ride. We're gonna just ride it like we stole it today and try to knock some of this battery out. Bike's Nimble. I ride it right out on the pier in Perryville. All right, about almost 30 miles. Here's the 30-mile review. Do I, at this point in time, think this is the best folding e-bike in the world for under $1,500? Yes, and I'll tell you the 3 main reasons. We've lost 1 battery bar at almost 30 miles. Yes, is that accurate? No, I told you that. I can't rely on that, but look how nimble this bike is. Jumbo battery, 40.5 amp hours. I know of no other size battery in a bike in this price range. Torque. I know of no other bike in this price range with 1,000 watt motor that peaks, that I believe does peak close to 1,800 watts based on how it has gone up the hills with me on it, and compared to my 1,100, 1,300, 1,500, and 2,000 watt bikes, which are all in the general ballpark of reality related to this. And then the third reason is 32 miles an hour, 31 miles an hour for me, 290-pound fat man with 10 pounds of weight. I just traveled about 5 miles, balls to the walls, PAS 5, pegged the throttle most of the way. The bike did not have a hiccup, did not burp, did not have any issues with the motor, did not have any issues. She just barreled from Charlestown down to Perryville like it was nothing at a good clip. So those are the 3 big reasons. Now here's supplemental reasons. I've never been on a gooseneck style bike that has had such rigidness, that has had such stability, that you could take your hands off and not have it wobble, wobble, wobble. So that's a bonus. The display clarity in the sunlight is A+. The fact that the speedo is off a couple miles an hour, that dings it a little bit, and it looks like the odometer is going to be off just a hair, which a hair adds up. Oh, whoa, see the torque? A hair adds up over 30 or 40 miles. So, and the watts is off. So the display in and of itself is like a B, and the only thing that keeps it from going to a C is that it is so easy to see in all different kind of light, and it gives you the most important items in big print for even old eyes like mine. And bonus, again, a plus for this bike is the control panel. The fact that it has the foot icon, it has the eye icon, it has the cruise control icon, and they're in white is a plus on top of those 3 other features. And I have had no crazy squeals, creaks, groans, moans with this bike. The brakes, somebody said, and actually I like him, I should subscribe to his channel. He's Canadian, eh? He's like, I can't pull them with one finger. And look, sure you can. My man better go to the gym, work on his grip strength. You can pull these with one finger. The brakes, I'm still gonna give them a B because they have the simplicity of a cable pulled disc brake with the stopping ability of an okay hydraulic brake. And so the brakes I'd give a B, the display I'd give a B, the front suspension I'd give a C because I bottomed out more on this suspension than I have other ones in this price range. The seat suspension and the seat I'll give a BB, they're okay. If I was gonna ride this 100 plus miles, I'd put a blue wind seat on it and probably my SAF4 suspension seat post. But as it comes for the price, it's a winner. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Just the battery, the power, and the speed alone make it worth it. And then the other nice features are kind of like icing on a cake, and there's no one big negative. None. My friend talked about scraping of the pedals. Yes, that's because it's got a low step through. The low step through is a big plus for somebody who has bad knees. I kind of like it because my knees, I have bad knees. And after 5,000 miles of riding electric, I already know about turning your pedals opposites, height, and turns. The only other thing that I would say, if I was gonna ding this bike, if I was gonna pick on this bike, I'll tell you what I pick on it for, but it goes hand in hand with the fact that it's a folding bike with folding pedals. And that is, if you try to pedal with any aggressive nature, when you're at 20 miles an hour or thereabouts, your foot might slip off the pedal. That's the only thing that's happened twice to me, is when I've tried to really grind out some extra speed pedaling wise around 20 miles an hour, is my feet have slipped off the pedal. That's the only ding that I can give this bike at this point in time with about 30 miles on it. Yes, we made it to Perryville Park. Look, they just paved this recently. I can smell it and I can look at it and see. The one thing I forgot to tell you, this is the most nimble step through that I've had that felt stable at all speeds. I've been on other step throughs that have been nimble-ish, but not as nimble or sturdy as this at the speeds we're doing. Like right now, we're doing over 25. Back to the EP hut with almost 40 miles. This is the longest mileage of an initial review I've ever done, and I did it for a reason, and I'll tell you in a second. 60% battery left according to the display, which I told you before, you really can't rely on it. Let's say 50%. Almost 40 miles. Almost 40 miles and 50%. And we were in PAS level 5 for everything, and throttle for 98% of it, and maxing out the speed up and down a ton of steep hills, going through sand, going through the fields, blah, blah, blah. Do I think that a 200-pound rider using throttle only could bang out 60 miles every day of the week? I bet you I would have got close to 55 or 60 miles if I would have kept going and I didn't have all these hills. So let's go into the ET hut in the shade because it's in the frickin' 90s, and I'll give you my final thoughts. Hear that? The front shock's the only thing that I will give a C to for this bike. This bike really surprised the heck out of me. Can you see it better now? 35.1 miles according to Relive app. I started a little bit late, almost 3 hours, 40.1 miles on the display, 60% battery, let's say 50% battery. That ain't too shabby at all. Final thoughts. Battery, outstanding. Seat, for my fat old butt, it's okay. It's not a, it's a B. The suspension seat post, a B. Front shock, I bottomed out more with this front shock than any other ones. C. The stability of this frame, this is all welded together. The stability with this gooseneck, A+. Take your hands off, no wobble. This is the most agile, stable step through I've ever been on. The ride in general, outstanding. If I was gonna do this kind of mileage again, I'd put my Blue Wind seat on and then it would be perfect. Maybe the Saffort suspension seat post, but this suspension seat post actually worked well. This is not an off-roading beast. This is general trails, maybe some bumpy fields for a mile or two at the most. Gravel trails, no problem. Obviously paved, very nimble. Could easily be a great DoorDash commuter. And you saw it folded up. Stick it in the Corolla, stick it in the Subaru, stick it in the back of the truck. Very compact. The pedals, if I was going to ding anything, if I was going to give anything a C grade, front shock and the pedals could be a little bit bigger, maybe grippier, but that kind of defeats the purpose of the compactness. You could always change them out if you wanted to. And it was only an issue for me slipping off when I tried to really crank on the pedals near 20 miles an hour. 20 miles an hour, it ghost pedals. Front chainring if you want to pedal more, but when you can pedal more, you use up more battery. This whole bike is designed to have mileage. This whole bike is designed to be an easy pedaler, especially for a newbie, and to get great mileage. And you will get great mileage with this bike. If you 300 pounds with me in the gear, if you are 200 pounds or lighter, you will go the distance. The throttle responsive, the cadence about a quarter, half turn, and then it kicks in. The manual, so simplistic, so concise, perfect. Gives you all the information a person needs. The fact that this bike came 98% put together, that is freaking outstanding. Not having to put a front tire on, that's a pain in the butt even for me, which is why I bought that professional bike lift to make it easier. So the fact that it's 98%, that's bonus, that's money. And the control pad for the display, the fact that it is laid out the way it is with the white letters, the foot, the cruise control, the eye so you can scroll through, outstanding. So simple, so easy to do, and not many companies do that. The display, A+ for being able to see it in the bright sunlight. I could adjust the tire size probably and get the speed down to be perfect, including the mileage. I don't care. I told you, the more you ride, the more you know your bike, that meter will mean nothing, and that will mean nothing really, because you'll know exactly how far you can go based on the temperature, based on your weight, how many tacos you ate the night before. You will learn your bike. So, bottom line, do I think this is the best folding e-bike under $1,500 in the world? Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm sweating like a dog. I had to take my glasses off. Use my code Bruce100 and it's only $12.99. Free shipping, no tax. Use the code, benefits the channel. The channel is me, doesn't cost you anything. This is a $12.99 bike all day long. The fact that you can go 32 miles an hour, The fact that it has that jumbo battery, the fact that it has torque to go up those hills. It went up the hills that I've just recently tested, 1100 and 1300 and 1500 bikes on, and it went up a little bit faster than the 1500. And so whether it's 1800, my dyno butt cannot be that precise. But is it close, if not that number? 100%. Rattan Ebikes is telling the truth with regards to their specs. And why wouldn't they? They've been around a long time. They got great reviews. All right, my friends, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. I will have a link in the description and a code for you for not only the step through, but also the step over. Go to work for either bike. Thank you for being my friends. Thank you for humoring this old man. If you are not a subscriber, boom, please smash that subscribe. Smash the like, share my video. Check out rattanebike.com. Great company. This is a great, great folding step through.